Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video, and welcome back to a new episode of At the Time of This Recording. So following the videos that I've done on the songs I love but would never want to hear again, and songs that I never want to hear again because I hate them, I've decided to do another instalment in this trilogy, which I've called Songs Considered Overplayed But I'll Never Get Tired Of. So here we go. We have a real doozy at number 1 with Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple. This song would strike fear into so many guitar players due to the fact it's the first song that most people would learn to play when playing guitar for the first time. More often than not, played wrongly, but played nonetheless. Released in 1973, this is one of the great classic rock songs. The iconic rock opening, played by Ritchie Blackmore, became the stuff of nightmares for guitar shop employees and would be the OG when referring to the 035 sequence memes. If you know, you know. For me, however, it's the remaining members that make the song so much more. You've got Ian Gillan's brilliant vocal delivery, you've got the harmonising organ played by the keyboard legend John Lord, you've got Roger Glover's gritty bass, and my favourite thing about the song, Ian Pace's drumming. You're so restless, and these syncopated fills are superbly played and very much merits a place on the list at number 1. At number 2, we have all been victims of it. It can be frustrating, but also hilarious in equal measures. One of the all-time great one-hit wonders, and arguably an equally iconic dance. I present to you Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. Released in 1987, it is quite possibly the cheesiest yet fun pop song in history. With just over 1 billion views on Spotify, it has cemented itself as one of the songs that always finds an audience across all age groups thanks to social media and the classic Rickroll gags. Whenever I've been Rickrolled, I don't get mad at all. Maybe slightly frustrated that the link I thought was something relevant to what I was looking for ends up being the song, but nonetheless it always brings a smile and I low-key enjoy it. At number 3, we have the most recent song on the list, which I feel is one of the best pop songs in modern times. It's also another one-hit wonder. We have Somebody I Used to Know by Gotye featuring Kimbra. Unbelievably, released 15 years ago this year, so released in 2011, it has amassed nearly 2.5 billion streams on Spotify. It's far from the overproduced, massive-sounding pop songs that we've been accustomed to. This, in comparison, is a much more sparse arrangement, beginning with Gotye singing the verse in a low register, with an intermittent modulated synth and glockenspiel fills, before giving way to his much more open and pained chorus. Kimbra takes the reins on the second verse and handles it in a similar way that Gotye did in the first verse, with much more vulnerability involved, and it's also sung in a higher register. This happens before we have the chorus the second time around with harmonising vocals. That is essentially the song. It was hugely popular, and it is not hard to see why, and why it keeps coming back to all this time later. Next up, we have a brilliant song which has been famously or infamously misinterpreted, which is hilarious for a song that has been played at a number of weddings and as used as tributes to their loved ones. We have the brilliant Every Breath You Take by The Police. Taken from their final album Synchronicity, released in 1983, it is also one of my all-time favourite albums. The soulful voice of Sting on this song is contradicted by the lyrics when you discover that the song is written about a stalker. The juxtaposition is what makes this song so great to me. That and the impossible chords progression by Andy Summers and the uncharacteristically steady drumming by Stuart Copeland. And of course, you have the most beautiful key change I can think of in any pop song. The vibe completely shifts and it sounds massive yet moving at the same time. It is a remarkable song and I never tire of hearing it. And with over 3 billion streams on Spotify, I certainly don't feel I'm alone either. A song going back to 1973 now, with over 1 billion streams on Spotify. We have Piano Man by Billy Joel. The moment you press play, well, on the album version at least, you're brought to the vibe of a jazz bar with an appropriately jazzy sounding introduction. and a harmonica playing what would be the vocal harmony in the chorus. It tells of a series of characters the musician witnesses while entertaining the patrons, the first of whom is a man who we can only assume is either an alcoholic or simply enjoying his tipple of choice, which is a gin and tonic. He then proceeds to ask the musician to play him the song that reminded him of when he was happier and younger. Other characters include barman John, who seems to be amiable yet unfulfilled, Davy, who's in the Navy, the waitresses talking politics, who one would assume that they're dreaming of bigger and better things, and the manager who is happy that the piano man has drawn in a good crowd. It's an everyday scene that shows that everyone has their own story, dreams, and regrets. It is this that I feel it makes it stand the test of time. Next up, we have a song which is surprisingly low in terms of the number of streams, with less than 500,000 given its longevity since its release in 1993. We have Hallelujah by Jeff Buckley. It is a hauntingly beautiful song. It was originally performed by Leonard Cohen in 1984, but this version, in my opinion, is a whole other level of brilliant. I've never been much of a fan of Leonard Cohen anyway, so I may be a little bit biased on that, but the raw and vulnerable performance here is just so intense you could hear a pin drop. Recorded with only one voice and a delicately played electric guitar, and that opening breath at the beginning straps you in for an intimate performance. It almost makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. And it's on Shrek, so top marks for that as well. Synonymous with the ultimate drum fill and gorillas playing drum kits to advertise British chocolate, we have the Phil Collins classic In the Air Tonight. I really do love this song a lot. I am aware that he was absolutely everywhere in the 80s, so that there are some who simply can't stand listening to him. But even though this song has been played an awful lot, it never fails to make me stop in my tracks and listen. You've got the effect-laden vocals, which are almost dreamy in quality, and of course it builds up to that iconic drum fill. Oh yeah, the chef's kiss. And with just under 1 billion streams on Spotify, it has certainly entertained many, including myself. Now we're going to fast forward to 2003 with Numb by Linkin Park. The early 2000s were, needless to say, a bit of an interesting time with the popularity of nu metal making its way into the mainstream. So alongside the pop stars at the time, you had the likes of Slipknot, Korn and Limp Bizkit becoming equally familiar names. Linkin Park, however, would captivate a much wider audience due to a somewhat more accessible sound. I will do an album ranking on Linkin Park at some point, so stay tuned for that. Back on point, this is arguably their most popular song, and it would feature heavily on rotation via Kerrang and Scuzz and other rock-orientated music channels long after it peaked in popularity. Such is its staying power. And over 20 years later, it still holds up and still resonates with the 2.5 billion occasions people have listened to the song on Spotify. I come back to Linkin Park a lot, and I really do enjoy all of their albums, so it was an easy inclusion in this list. Released in 1985, we have everyone's favourite Norwegian trio. I mean, it might be mayhem, but I've opted to go for Take On Me by a-ha. I first got into a-ha thanks to my mum, as she had a greatest hits of theirs when I was little. Take On Me is certainly one of their most accessible sounding songs in their entire catalogue. Yes, it may well be their most well-known song, but the band are so much more than this 80s classic. Nonetheless, it's still bloody great, with the iconic synth hooks and Morten Harkett's soaring yet technically incredible vocals are the meat and potatoes of the song. It creates a perfect storm of hooks flying left, right and centre, resulting in a total earworm, including one of the greatest music videos of all time. And with 2.5 billion streams and counting on Spotify, it is a song that continues to entertain for over 40 years. Last up, we're in the 90s, and it would be possible the song that popularised the mandolin. Of course, it's Losing My Religion by REM. Released in 1990, it would be a huge hit worldwide, and it would throw the enigmatic Georgian quartet into superstardom and household names. It remains ever present on various playlists and classic music channels and radio stations. It's not just the mandolin that makes this song so great to me, and one I don't get tired of, but it's the bass playing and the backing vocals of Mike Mills and the distinctive vocals of Michael Stipe that would be critical to their success and longevity. I'm a huge fan of these guys, and I am currently working on a script for the album ranking for these guys as well. The length that I will go to, the distance in your eyes, is an incredible lyric. One of many fantastic lyrics from this band, and they do not get enough recognition for their impact, not just on me, but music as a in general terms. Let's say with so many albums under their catalogue, it is criminal that the rest of their albums have been overshadowed by this song. But without this song, we wouldn't have people like me and so many millions of others being unaware of them at all. And there we have it, folks. So thank you for staying put and listening to the 10 songs which are very popular but I'll never get tired of hearing. So yeah, stay tuned for the video coming next week and I will see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.